What is good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Your eyes do not deceive you. Mr. SimpleMan's Comics Bryan Wood is not with us tonight, but that is just fine. We are ready to talk about some comic news weekly. Before we introduce the guests tonight, we're going to talk a little last Ronin going video game news. Something about a marvelous lawsuit going on. I don't know what's marvelous about it, but it just sounds kind of interesting to figure out what's going on there. And there's some Spawn movie news. What? Who thought that was ever going to happen still? But you guys are here in the right spot. Buckle up. Let's hang out and talk for about an hour. We'll go over new comic book day books, and we'll have one more thing at the very end and some news at the end too. So without further ado, we're going to introduce the man, the myth, the legend himself. From Beyond Wednesdays, we've got the Bryan McClay. What is up, man?
I'm warning you right now. Bryan from Beyond Wednesdays is beyond high. So it's going to be an interesting show. Care of my strain this week, Hi-Fi Glue, which is, it's taller than giraffe vagina. Higher than giraffe.
I've never heard that one before.
But I'm looking forward to it, man. Always good to talk about comics, especially talk about new comic book day, all that fun stuff. Let's do it.
I'm excited. That's why I love Tuesday nights, hanging out with you guys, talking about some news articles, but then new comic book day, and we get to hang out with the man himself, who needs no title at all whatsoever, the legend, Ryan of Rhynoverse.
They're watching you.
I wondered.
Man, this shirt, I was just telling the guys, man, I saw this shirt hanging out and saw the acacia strain. I'm like, that is just the most badass shirt. That's going to be cool to stream in. And it's green, so it's outside my norm, but I totally dig it.
I like how the very bottom of your screen, it cuts out. Oh, you just met. Oh, you got to tilt it back down a little bit so it looked like the eyes were just at the bottom. There you go.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Hey.
We got the chat rolling now. We had tailgaters in here earlier. Everybody hitting the thumbs up. We appreciate everybody coming out on a Tuesday night or catching this on the replay. If you're catching this on the replay, leave a comment down below about these topics tonight, because this is going to be pretty interesting. Things are starting to connect, and I can't wait to dig into some of this stuff with you guys. But before we even do that, that's me right there. I don't mean to hit that one. Phil's Treehouse is in the chat. Nicholas, good to see you, man. Who else? Mitch, Joel. We got a lot of the regulars here. Josh, Snizzle Pop, the recent winner from the CDC Comics giveaway from our last blind unboxing. We're getting ready to schedule the next one this Friday. Every time there's a live CDC unboxing on this channel on Friday night, there's going to be a giveaway for the community. Izzy, good to see you. What's up, man? Captain Comics, Ahoy, mates and mermaids, Hawaiian Punch. How's it going? Good to see you. Hi. I still can't get higher than that draft. That's pretty high, man. I want to go right into, as the rest of the chat keeps filtering, and get right into this, because I'm really excited to talk about this. Was the discussion about the last Ronin hitting the news again and sparking some interest within the comic book community, because the last Ronin they announced is going towards the video game era. After we talked so much about The Last of Us and video game adaptions, now we're seeing that comic book trend over into another video game, and they're going God of War style with The Last of Us. Now, this was like, some of the news articles were like a little over a week old, but this one was as of last night or one day ago. It had a little bit more news. And I'm curious if you guys had been following this at all, or if you guys had actually finished reading The Last Ronin.
I haven't been following this at all, so it makes me even more stoked, because this is like perfect. We need like R-rated Ninja Turtles, man. And the closest we can get to that is a video game. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. So, and The Last Ronin is a great title to do it with. You know, you got to get in his head. Everything's dark. You know, doesn't know, what's in store for him. Type grim, Frank Miller-esque stuff, which is what, the original creators always intended. So
I know we recently on a video game trend, The Last of Us. I'm curious.
Oh,
We just lost your mic, brother.
Whoa,
Now you're back.
that's interesting.
Yeah, you like went into like FM land.
Holy moly. I might be getting a short here. I don't know. Either way, we'll figure it out. But I'm curious. Now, we got Ryan in on the Last of Us trend on a PlayStation. So I'm curious if we're going to keep you playing some video games and get you in on some Last Ronin.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely try to check. I'm starting to make this the trend. Like I want to kind of start playing some of the games that have comics related with them and just see, you know, almost make it like a, hey, let's try this out and see how the adaptation is either way, one way or the other. And almost, man, it's almost like an idea that I was like, maybe I could just start doing nothing but like comic and go back and do old comic book games and then new ones. And then just to see like, you know, which ones kept to the story and which ones went off the rails and like which ones are fun to play and which ones are just a turd to play. Because I haven't played the Maximum Carnage game in such a long time. And that's a game I would really love to go play. But when this comes out, it would definitely be cool to check out. I remember playing that Turtles game as a kid. That was a blast.
Dude, you should totally play Maximum Carnage. Take screenshots and share them on Instagram. That'd be a cool blast from the past.
Hell yeah.
I know joke posted about this not too long ago. I got slammed at work, so I wasn't able to post this earlier this morning to kind of talk more about what was going on in tonight's show. And I had several people message me, including Laura of Bird City Comics. They are in love with the Last Ronin series. And she's like, yeah, when are you talking about this? I would love to hop on. And I'm like, in about 25 minutes. And she's like, oh. She's like, we're going to be over on Lords of the Long Box. I'm like, yeah, you have to catch the replay. She really wanted to be a part of this and talk about Last Ronin. But, you know, if the development and the release of this video game is going to be anything like the series, I'm going to be a bald, hairless man of nothing but anxiety, frustration, and anger.
Yeah.
Because that completely deflated me. The release of that series, taking all of those breaks so long.
It's always a killer. It's always a comic killer. It's always been a comic killer. Waiting too long to put out issues. You lose people. The story, they get into it that isn't yours. So yeah, I agree. They got to get it out and get it running. Is it going to be do they say like if it's going to be on one or the other one platform or the other?
They didn't yet, but if they're alluding to a quote unquote God of War style game, then it's got to be a PS 5 title or exclusive, a PlayStation Sony exclusive.
It's going to be weird. At some point, there's so many gamers and there's so many people who like to play with each other. And it just sucks when you can't play, like, I guess cross gen or whatever, like the cross. And in most games, they do make it like that. But it's almost like every game is going to be like cross. I don't know how hard it is to do that or what the costs are on that. But it's just got to be. I mean, they're going to have to do everything like that.
Who knows? I hope not. I hope that that doesn't. Well, I mean, I don't care if they do that. Actually, I don't care if they do that. I just hope that it comes out good and we get it out soon.
Yeah, they're talking a dystopian style Last Ronin God of War-esque video game. So one that could be pretty cool. I think they could be walking into a trap though, that if this isn't done right. This is starting to become a genre with video game series and titles. Like you look at The Last of Us, you look at Jedi Fallen Order. There's several video games out there where it's from the same perspective, same view, and it's a lot of wall climbing, running, jumping, like heights. It's a lot of scary stuff like that. I haven't played the Spider-Man games yet, but they're starting to feel very similar with different skins, different characters, and different storylines. So if they don't break through some sort of wall and do something a bit different with this and just put out another game 2 years from now that feels a lot very similar, like playing The Last of Us or playing Jedi Fallen Order, like Jedi Survivors coming out this month or next month. And that's another game where it feels very similar to The Last of Us and some other ones. So if they don't break through that and find a different way of doing that, and it feels like God of War, same style thing, Horizon Forbidden West, same viewpoint, same style, running, jumping, grabbing, lots of climbing, lots of high heights. Like it's a cool
That's what Ninja Turtles needs.
It is what Ninja Turtle needs, but if you think about from the video gamer's perspective, how different is that game gonna feel? Like they got to do something to make it feel different.
With the Jedi game, like there was that one that I got right before football season that it was the last Star Wars, I think the Fallen or something like that.
Fallen Order,
yeah. And I started playing on that one. I don't have it right here. I started playing on that one, and I think I do have it right here. And I got Fallen. This is it right here. Yeah. So that was the one before the one that just came out, right?
A couple years ago.
And then, but I mean, now they have the newer version or the new one that came out, correct?
Next month.
Oh, so that's the last one that's come out. Okay. So I still need to play through that one, but I got into The Last of Us, but I think I'm going to switch back over to that one because I just need something different than The Last of Us. Last of Us continuing. I feel like I want something different. So I might just switch back over to that one and try to complete that maybe. You
need to give your nerves a break.
It's that game is a lot more challenging than I expected it to be. I thought it would just be kind of like a playthrough. Like when you did like Spider-Man, you're just basically playing through the comic. But this game, you actually have to there's a little more skill involved or something. The Last of Us is pretty. I've been spending a lot of time on it, and yeah.
I'm certainly with you guys though, as we need an adult dystopian version of Turtles. R-rated kind of crazy Turtles. And speaking of Turtles, what's up to our man, the myth, the legend, C119, the greatest, biggest Turtles fan in the comic community. He will be on the forefront of a Last Ronin game, I'm sure. We'd love to hear from him on that. It could be a little bit of a trap, but if you play through all the God of War games, play through all the Last of Us games, play through the Horizon Forbidden West games, and play through the Jedi Fallen Order games, it's starting to feel similar in how some of the actions and the things present themselves in the game. So hopefully they do something a little bit different, but don't go too crazy. Like you want to be comfortable, but you also don't want it just to be a same game with a bunch of different skins on it in different locations. I think the reality of this is we're probably several years away from seeing this. And like the series, I was hyped. I was pumped. And then break after break after break got me really, really deflated. I still wanted to finish reading it. It's still a really good read, but man, my ass is still a little chapped after having to wait so freaking long for the rest of those issues to come out. And I hope they don't do that to the video game and just delay it and delay it and delay it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'd really like to see them where they do a story through the comics, and then at the end of that story, you jump over to a game, and then you play they give you time to kind of play through a game, and then they start another story that bounces off of the game through the comics.
Yeah, Cosmic Ones, we got a good point though. Why stop with the game? Let's do a series or a movie for Last Ronin.
Or they could do
I'll take both. Yeah, let's do it. Oh yeah, I'm all about it.
I just would like to see them integrate games in more with comics. I think that would help the comics kind of have buy into new audience and whatnot, and it would just make it. It's like I like the choose your own adventure books because it just made it fun. It was just kind of unique and different, and if someone could figure out how to do that along with the book, that would be a lot of fun.
I think I don't disagree with you at all. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a hard sell because the video game community is vastly larger than the comic book community, and I think if they want to focus on a smaller portion of the pie, they'd be hard pressed to sell a studio to develop and spend the money on a game that's only gonna be focused on a much smaller portion of the video game community.
Well, if you played the video game, you wouldn't have to read the comic. It would just go along with the comic if you were reading the comic. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. So it would be like you would have like a comic book story, and then at the end of the comic book story, it would loop in to a game. And then
you're not talking about making it look like a comic book in the video game. You're talking about actually following the comic story in the game.
Yeah, through the game, And then the game would stand on. It could stand on its own, but essentially, it's a continuation of the end of the comic. And then at the end of that game, you would have the next series that would start up.
Dude, that'd be dope. That would be pretty good. Glenn Smith with a really, really good point, though. When it comes to the comic book, wait 6 to 9 months, the price will come back down if you missed out on the single issues. Don't overpay, fight back the FOMO. And I think that book was really heavily printed. I don't think it's going to be a hard book to find at all. So, yeah, I might see a bump from the video game news. I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't even think it's going to take 6 to 9 months. Give it 4 weeks. Attention spans are so short. Start shopping again in 4 to 6 weeks. But yeah, the last week in April for Jedi Survivor. Jenica in the game would be really cool too. You think of how many girl gamers are out there that'd be really interested in being a part of a Jenica story?
I mean, there's a lot of girl gamers, and that's a big trend in there, especially on Twitch and stuff like that.
It's been a big trend for a long time, but it's only just been in the last few years that you get to see more and more of it on social media and more streaming on Twitch.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, one interesting story to another, something that we kind of reported on a while ago, the axing of a head over at Disney, aka Marvel, aka Disney, Victoria Alonso. And there was early reports that she had been released because of she had a toxic work environment. This is back on the 21st of March, where the news came out that she was singularly responsible for Marvel's toxic work environment, a kingmaker who rewarded unquestioning fealty with an avalanche of work, but who also maintained the blacklist that kept FX pros wild-eyed with fear. She held a crazy amount of power, and everyone in the VFX industry was quite scared of her. However, other reports have disputed those claims, and a new claim came out recently from Deadline talking about how she's suing. She's going to sue over the pink slipping. It says here, the idea that Victoria was fired over a handful of press interviews relating to a personal passion project about human rights and democracy that was nominated for an Oscar, and which she got Disney's blessing to work on, is absolutely ridiculous. So I guess there's another story of her maybe figuring out just doing ridiculous shit for that movie that she was trying to have made, which was a good movie, it appears. Anyways, Victoria, a gay Latina who had the courage to criticize Disney, was silenced. Then she was terminated when she refused to do something she believed was reprehensible. Disney and Marvel made a poor decision that will have serious consequences. There's a lot more to the story, and Victoria will be telling it shortly in one form or another. So she is going after them. And says here that GLAAD's being brought up. She told GLAAD audience over the discrimination, she said, "So I ask you again, Mr. Chapek, please respect if we're selling family. Take a stand against all these crazy outdated laws," Alonso told a GLAAD audience over a clear discrimination move in the Sunshine State, aka Disney World, the home of Disney World. "Take a stand for family. Stop saying that you tolerate us. We deserve the right to live, love, and have. More importantly, we deserve an origin story." So I guess she was a thorn in their side, so it seems. But yeah, this is the type of stuff I'm not surprised about. We're getting into that place again where cancel somebody. Somebody hadn't been canceled in enough time. Let's try and cancel somebody else, or pulling the cancel card, right? I'm gonna sue you. It reminds me of Rocky 5, when they're finally, him and what's his name, were about to fight in the street, and that his manager goes, "Don't touch me or I'll sue."
Well, I think that in today's time, everyone is hyper vigilant and hyper aware that the next lawsuit is just around the corner, especially if you're a big corporation. Like if you're a big corporation or known or have some kind of clout or money, it's like you're just waiting for the next lawsuit to come through. And it blows my mind that with that being so well known and so like documented and prevalent in society, that a company would just be like, oh well, yeah, we don't care if they're going to sue. We're just going to act out and do these things anyway, not thinking that all the people that work there, someone wouldn't be like, well, it's not, if they're just going to be like, I have a anti whatever they might have anti, and they're like, well, they did this because I'm this, or I'm that, or because I'm that. I just feel like companies are too aware and too vigilant in that it's not, we're not in the 90s or the early 2000s where people were like, it was a new trend and people were like trying to fight for the rights. Everyone has their rights currently. I feel like now some folks are still trying to get some equality maybe in some of the rights, and I get that. But a company like Disney or Marvel are huge companies, and the number one thing they're looking for is they don't want to be this kind of bad press. And so it just was. I would be very shocked to see if this was actually a pointed thing that they're trying to do.
Yeah, this is something that big corporations really have, their rules made for. So they don't ever have this type of thing happen. This is the worst thing that can happen for them, right?
Yeah, like they even list in this article a little bit further down, a glaring breach of contract is what she was terminated for. And while there's a contract for somebody in her position like that for a reason, regardless of if it's her or somebody else or anybody else from any other background in there, there's a person of that in that position of that stature is going to have a contract for a company like that. And
Yeah.
it's funny how all this stuff snowballed months and months and months ago. We actually kind of covered a couple articles that talked about the toxic work environment of the VFX artists. And this kind of came up during when She-Hulk dropped and everybody started talking about how bad the VFX art was in She-Hulk. And then there was actually a couple of people that leaked from the VFX world how terrible the working conditions were and how bad the environment, how toxic things were. And they started talking about that on Reddit and some other places about how many hours they work and how bad it is. And it come to find out she was the president of the VFX side of Marvel. So that snowballed into the She-Hulk issue or the VFX issue that snowballed into some other Marvel news with Ant-Man underperforming or not doing well. That script being leaked, that snowballs into the Disney news of the underperformance of having to cut back $5.5 billion and lay off 7 people. And then all of a sudden, after last week's episode of Comic News Weekly, this drops that she's suing Marvel and Disney. And it's kind of like, this all kind of starting to seem connected if you know more about what's going on. And I don't know if something really bad happened and she's trying to save face, but Disney wouldn't just can somebody if there wasn't a legitimate like paperwork or ground to stand on to do this. They wouldn't. It's not like they just walked up to her and said, here's your pink slip. We would like to lay you off as part of the 7,000 people. And then she's going to turn around and sue them. It's just Disney wouldn't even approach that if they didn't have the grounds to do it.
She pissed somebody off. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a squeaky wheel, like the squeaky wheel, the last one that she's always been known as being kind of a pro strong or whatever. And I know that when they came to handing her the pink slip, they were like, okay, let's get like 2 or 3 people in there. Let's get the lawyers to look over this. Let's get this all documented because she's going to find something to get an angle on. So we have to make sure we double and triple check all this stuff that we're doing in the reasoning, documentation, or whatever it is. Because even in like smaller corporations or like, where just wherever you work, my wife is in management. I tell like, everything's got to be documented. You have to make sure that there's a clear path for all this. And that's not even dealing with something that's a big corporation like that. They've got to have like a lot of of eyes on that are going to have to, that would bless that particular decision, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was just somebody under her or in one of those areas, I mean, there would be some opportunity to step up and try to either make things right or build your brand and try to grow into something like this, because it doesn't sound like she's going to be coming back at all.
No.
Nah.
Who's going to hire her now? Who knows? I'm sure there's plenty of companies out there that see value in her, but
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be someone that's going to be like, "Oh, well, we could use that talent," and it probably was something or was a different of opinion, and then they'll pick her up. But it's just that yeah, it's hard for me to believe that the powers that be in those corporations. And don't get me wrong, I think all the guys in Ivory Tower have an agenda, and it is. But I just think whenever they're pushing their agenda, they're going to make sure that their agenda that they're pushing is not going to get them in trouble, and it's not going to cost them money.
Yeah, I mean, just 7 days ago, CBR with this co-founder created Marvel's toxic VFX work environment. So it's article after article about Marvel and Disney and what's going on with underperformance and layoffs and cutbacks of the 5.5 billion or million or whatever it is. And then she seems to be connected to a lot of things, not just the layoffs or the cutbacks, but when it comes to the VFX toxic environment and what the hell happened to this breach of contract? That's really what I want to know from Marvel and Disney is what was breached in that contract. Now, obviously, either it's going to go silent and like Cosmic One or somebody said she might get something seeing how it was a contract and they might just pay her some hush money and pay her off. But this isn't going to go to a public trial. We're not going to get to see the contract. We're not going to get to see what the breach was. We're probably not going to get to hear any tapes or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Scandalous. But it's not scandalous, Ryan.
Well, my boy,
apparently news about Spawn, right?
McFarlane he's like, yo, that's why I left that company, because they got all this jacked up stuff going over there. And we're a small little corporation just trying to make our way. And all of a sudden now they're having to make big corporation decisions. So McFarlane looked like he was, in the midst of making this Spawn movie. And I was reading this a little while ago. It was supposed to be an average budgeted movie. They're a smaller company than Marvel, and they can't. Well, all of a sudden now the A-listers are starting to come up on their payroll, or they're starting to have some A-listers in the movies, which is starting to increase the budget. And McFarlane said it was going to be a small or a mid-sized budgeted movie, and now he's starting to kind of retract that a little bit, and he's saying, well, if we got A-listers in there, we're going to have a bigger budget, but that it means it'll just be a better product down the road. So yeah, he's starting to it's starting to become a bigger and bigger project from what he originally started. They recently said that who they said they got in there. They recently got a confirmation of a new actor that was in the A-list area. I don't know who is quote unquote A-listers, but where did I see that? Original plan was it
he spends so much time wanting that thing to be perfection that it's getting ridiculous to this point. No, I saw a video today. I saw a video today where they were talking about how Todd McFarlane, who also created the character, has now ruined the character.
He's saying too, he's like, we can't keep it a small budget when you have A-listers on your that are on your in your movie. We can't keep it small budget because they expect, as actors, they expect certain things. They expect bigger directors. They expect the scripts to be a certain way or whatnot. So all these, because they're getting bigger actors, he's almost kind of putting it on them that because we have this bigger actors now, we have to have a bigger budget and we have to get better people, and it's gonna be better in the long run. But I guess it's a way to kind of tweak his original vision of the movie and making it bigger, because I think that he just can't help himself but to try to compete with Marvel. He just can't help himself.
Dude, Norenrad hitting the nail on the head here because he wasn't able to get the money up himself. Like this to me kind of feels like Uncle Todd here fishing a little bit. Like it doesn't, like, I'm not giving I'm not discrediting the writer or the resource or anything. This feels a little clickbaity, not from the person reporting or writing this. This feels a little clickbaity from Uncle Todd. I'll be honest with you. Like, he's trying to get a little bit of information out there. He wants to go A-list, but where's the list of A-list people that he's even considering? One. Two, there's not a lot of meat and potatoes here besides Spawn, bigger budget, A-list talent attached. Like, this is great. I really want to talk about that. I was hyped, but then this is great. Look at the article starting, and then you get to hear, oh, article's over, and you're like, oh, what the shit?
Yeah. It's almost like I think you kind of hit it. Like he's almost like testing the waters. He's like, let me put this out there in the community and see like what type of stir does it get? Are people like pumped and getting crazy? Because if so, then I'll put the money in. But if it doesn't really, if it's not really getting traction and whatnot, then maybe I'm not going to go as big as I'm thinking about it, or I'm going to stay kind of saver to my budget. So he's really trying to test the waters by, I mean, I give it up to the guy. I mean, I think he's a very good businessman. I think that, you know, his ways, he the way he thinks, I think is different than the way a lot of people think, and the way a lot of people, you know, would handle that situation. But what did he say? What did he say? What a change the story. The mystery turns to McFarlane and prays that he can save the fact that they shoving so many comic book movies into our throats. Yeah. I mean, you know, McFarlane, he's a different thinker. And I think that, you know, I think it's cool where he's gotten to, and he's very proud, but now he's almost to a point where he's kind of nervous to fall. Like if he falls from where he's at, that would kill him.
I mean, well, not only that, and maybe there is a little bit of pride involved in this, but this almost feels like he's fishing for other directors. He's trying to find other talent. Potentially, rhetorical question: is he fishing for another large investor or other large investors that he could trust to invest into this project? Because there's one line down here. My original plan has gotten tripped up a bit. McFarlane revealed you deal with a lot given Hollywood, but then the piece that I have to be realistic about is once someone says yes, we take all these people and a decent amount of money, there's a chance that they buy multiple movies up front. So maybe he's wanting to really throw a little bit of bait out there and dangle to see who's willing to talk about this and potentially make what happened to the original Spawn movie not happen here.
Yeah.
And he wants the Spawn verse to be more successful on screen than it has been in the past. And I can appreciate that. Like, this is kind of feels like a political or a very professional way to say, hey, I'm looking for a little bit of help into delivering what the fans really want.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like, it's almost, it does feel like it's a smaller company trying to go up against the big dogs, and they have something good, but they just want someone else to kind of have some skin in the game with it, because they feel like there's more power in with having someone else in there and having some skin in the game, that they would kind of support them and be able to go back and forth instead of trying to. Right now, he's kind of standing on his own legs.
Yeah, like I'm not like the biggest Todd McFarlane fan, nor do I know him all that well, but
I like Todd. Todd's probably one of the big reasons why I am into comics, because when I was younger, that's the Spider-Mans that he did, and I used to try to draw his little scroll looking how he did his signature with the scrolls. I used to try to draw that myself. Todd McFarlane is one of my favorites of all time, and so. And I don't have, and in Spawn, I couldn't get behind Spawn because it just felt like it was another version of Venom, and or it looked the looks were so similar that I was like, okay, like it felt to me, it always felt like a secondary version of Venom to me. That's what it felt like. Now it's a different character, but it's more of the look. He doesn't have the teeth or whatever, but but he has a lot of the same things as far as how he looked, and I like Spawn though. I think Spawn's a cool character as well. If I wasn't into Venom, I probably would be into Spawn just because he's a cool looking character.
Yeah, I don't mean to misspeak. I don't have anything against Todd or Spawn or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, I'm nowhere near the Spawn fan that the Spawn fans really are. I'm a casual Spawn / Todd McFarlane fan. I don't really go out going for signatures and stuff like that. But this just kind of feels like somebody professionally looking for a little bit of help to deliver something bigger and better, and not just being too prideful and keeping it tucked in, so to speak, and then trying to deliver whatever they're going to deliver and then have it underperform. I don't know that he's competing with Marvel or trying to compete with Marvel. Like there was a comment earlier in the chat that talked about more movies, more comic book movies. Aren't we getting a little bit overloaded? I think the larger community as a whole, if this is delivered right and it's rated R and it's written well, I think it's going to win people over tremendously.
Yeah, I think too, like he, as far as movies go, the big character in like DC is it wins. But I think if you look at like he would rate himself almost against some of their mid-tier characters or smaller characters, and he feels that if he failed against that would be a failure. He should be able to do better than what a DC mid-tier character should be able to do. And I think that's kind of like his. I don't know. I'm completely making things up in my mind.
No,
But
I
I
don't.
mean,
I
like,
don't think you're. We're honestly talking about one of the smartest men in comic books and figures. And look at
he's
where
so aggressive, so positive thinking, forward thinking.
he is the epitome of skate where the puck is going to be. And look what he created and developed with the McFarlane line of figures and Spawn and everything. And look where that is now. Maybe he's predicting a much brighter future for the motion picture cinema overall for movie theaters and going forward. And maybe he sees something that we don't, and he's willing to invest more than what he planned on originally.
Well, I think too, he's kind of like, hey guys, like you have DC and you have Marvel and everyone's burned out on all this stuff, but I got a whole new slew of stuff over here that can be marketed and it can be made really badass. So hey, let's just try to do this way and try to go at a different angle. We can really capture this side of the market and become a newer thing.
Well, if you think about it from a business perspective too, the next generation of readers and collectors out there are here. How many of them buy figures and read Spawn and are fans of the McFarlane line as much as we are in our 30s and 40s? So there's some work to be done if he wants his business to continue being successful.
And Norrin Rad, I do like Todd. He was one of the creators of Venom. He did not create Venom. Just got to put the record straight. He was one of the creators of Venom. And Todd is a co. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, he was right. I didn't see the last part for whatever reason I looked up. So you're absolutely co-creator. I love that. Thank you, sir. He was right on that. Some folks get that Todd made Venom thing, and it was like, no.
I mean,
help develop them, but
there's not a lot of meat and potatoes in this news article, but it is still really exciting to hear that some progress is trying to be made and that it's not just swept into the broom closet, so to speak. And I'm sure, I mean, I can see the comments start picking up as people continue to talk. So that tells me that people in the community are excited for Spawn to a degree, whether at least seeing it be successful or at least seeing a really, really well done movie that breaks through kind of what is an all too comfortable norm when it comes to comic book movies and like Marvel Cinematic Universe or DC Universe. You sit down and you can kind of expect the same thing.
Spawn could be, if done right, Spawn could be an amazing fucking like it could be it can be an amazing like movie. That would be an awesome freaking movie. It could be so with the current abilities of how they do CG and all that stuff. They could make Spawn so badass. And it's a dark character. It's a gritty character. It kind of grabs some of the different elements that are really good of Batman, like of your Batmans and stuff like that. It could be that kind of dark and grit, but then have like some of the crispy the way that kind of Marvel looks too, all wrapped in one. And also that Marvel or that Spawn soundtrack, hands down for me, the best soundtrack to a movie ever.
You are right at hitting that nail on the head with the massive hammer there. That Spawn soundtrack's been talked about for decades, man, and still is talked about today. You're not wrong there at all. That Spawn soundtrack, as soon as that movie came out, and we were kids in school, that was in everybody's skip proof CD players and all that other jazz. It was good shit.
Yeah, I would imagine that album helped that movie so much more just because of how badass that album was.
Yeah. You know what else is really interesting too is maybe he saw more opportunity with the DC news of potentially Constantine 2 coming back. Keanu Reeves said he was on board for that project with the recent DC Universe news that had come out. But then what didn't hit this week's news that we did see an article on was Constantine 2 potentially getting delayed or bumped or pushed back and I didn't read the article. I just read the title. So it's kind of like, well, maybe he sees an opportunity to kind of step into that good versus evil movie role with Spawn and have something crazy kind of Netherworlds-esque rated R insanely good movie that Constantine 2 could be, or either springboard off Constantine 2 if it does happen. Either way, I see a guy that sees opportunity that's willing to ask for a little bit of help.
I feel like he found himself a spot in the cinematic world, or in between the comic books, and he's looking in between and saying, okay, they're doing that, let me find my spot. And he finds it, he sees it, he's just like, okay, who wants to go with me? Who's coming with me? Come on, who's coming with me?
That'd be a movie that I would pay to see multiple times, even if it was just average. The history that we have as people in our age group with Spawn, whether you're a diehard Spawn fan or a casual one like me, I'd still go see that movie multiple times when it came out.
I need to go see. I need to watch Spawn again. I haven't seen that in forever.
The cartoon badass too.
And some community members were talking about was it HBO? HBO did a TV series. Was it Twitch? And,
an animated series. Yeah.
The other series that and I still like Swamp Thing. I kind of put Swamp Thing and Spawn kind of in the same like coolness. Like they could do a lot of things with Swamp Thing too. That's DC though, but I mean I like me some Swamp Thing.
I don't know. I'm really excited. It just doesn't take much to get excited. Even though, like I said, there's not a lot of news in that article. He's just a little bit of talk of a video, but the more we talk about it, the more the community talks about it, the more I'm getting excited for it.
It just shows you how thirsty you are to have something new and original on the screen.
I'm worried. So like, I feel like anything I say is gonna be negative because I'm so worried. I feel like, he has gone complete 180 from where he was initially, and I think he's found out how hard it is to make a movie and have it exactly the way you want it in Hollywood these days and still make money. Nobody's gonna get behind you if you're gonna do that. So he kind of, made his bed and had to lie in it for a while, and it's been so long, it's getting kind of ridiculous.
You think there's still repercussions that he's facing because of that, then, is what you're saying?
I think that now he's like, he probably talks shit about, everybody having to make concessions, and he's not going to make concessions and that type of stuff, and people just didn't want to work with him.
That's a fair point.
It is what it is.
I mean, you do live and learn, and he is a very proud individual, you can tell, but he also, man, he works his ass off, man. That's the one I give him some credit for the amount of just effort he puts into everything. Like he really tries to give. I wouldn't say he would give you anything half-ass.
Bryan makes a really good point, though, that if he isn't willing to make concessions or work with other people, he could be stuck in this non-movie limbo forever. And if he ever wants to see it, he'd have to be 100% funded by himself, and he'd have to pick a dream team that he wants. And then we all know what that does, right? If I start ComicManAndy Inc. of comic book sales and production company and all this other jazz, and I hire everybody that thinks exactly like me, am I going to deliver enough original products out to the comic book community that it's going to do well and have good sales? No, I'm going to produce the same repeated product with a different skin, with a different writer or different artist, but it's all going to come out the same because everybody that works for me thinks exactly like me. So Bryan's got a really, really, really excellent point that if he's not willing to make concessions and work with other people that have fresh, new original ideas, this might not ever get off the ground or come to fruition. That's something that's talked about quite heavily in businesses all over the world, is something called emergenetics. Emergenetics is a course that you can take that teaches you to understand how your brain works and kind of divides up your thought process into color categories like, are you theoretical, are you analytical, are you structural, are you social, and how much of your brain works like that. But what it does is it shows you how you think, and it helps you realize that you got to think outside your box to hire and pair up and team up with people that think differently than you do, so that when you guys attack a problem or a challenge or a situation, you get to think about it from multiple different perspectives, and you don't get stuck in the same rabbit hole of thinking one way and you never come to a solution, never solve a problem. So Bryan's got a great point that if he doesn't make any concessions and doesn't work with other people, this could never get off the ground.
Yeah, he does that proud, I'm right, kind of like, this is my thing, and I've made it this far, and I had the vision type of mentality.
Amen.
Yeah. Damn, I hope it doesn't come to that. I mean, I really do, but I appreciate Bryan bringing that up because that's a really damn good point. But you know what else is a really good point?
What is that?
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
I'm watching you.
The new comic book day. That shirt creeps me the fuck out. I love it. I love it, man. How was the concert?
Oh man, it was so badass. Like I saw them not too long ago. They just played one album, and last night the night before last, they played a bunch, and they're just a really good band, dude. They got good metal for sure. I'm talking about the Acacia Strain, if anyone's asking or wondering.
Yeah. I was really excited for New Comic Book Day Wednesday. I talked to TM Nerdy, Geek Out with Roscoe, a number of other community members, and made the decision I was going to get caught up on GCPD, the Gotham City Police Department Reeks. It's only on like issue 4 or 5. But then I saw my pull list today because Bryan's going to start dipping into this now.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know if it was a real crazy New Comic Book Day for me. Well, I'm obviously not buying anything, but just like items where I kind of usually jump out to me. But there's a couple in here, so let's get into this. All right. Starting off, the one that everybody's looking for, Action Comics 1053, but not this cover. This cover,
Yep,
is amazing, or this cover right here. So be on the lookout. There you go, Will Jackman.
Spider-Gwen? No.
It looks like her. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, from the head up, the body does not.
I hate the fact that I'm going to walk into my LCS and probably see like a scary, ridiculous price tag on that issue tomorrow.
Oh yeah, both of them for sure.
Is that is this a new character?
You might be able to get him at his store though. Let's take a look. Let me take a quick look.
Is it a new character?
No,
I haven't bought a store variant in a long time.
That's Power Girl, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, she doesn't look like Venom to me, so don't know.
Okay, Cosmic One. I want to come back to this a little bit when we start talking Star Wars stuff too. That comic.
All right, Will Jack art. Might be KRS Comics or the Comic Mint. We'll see here. Let me take a quick look. Shop. He doesn't have any here. Maybe
that's the prettiest girl I've seen on a comic book in a while.
I don't see it on. It's on KRS and it's sold out on KRS. So
there you guys go.
Brand DC. It's
to eBay you go.
Hold on. Let me. Please launch
eBay.
Action Comics 1053 Will Jack exclusive options sold out.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they were sharing it with somebody else though.
I wonder when they draw her if they're like, okay, we're gonna make her cup size this, or they just try to shoot from the hip.
I don't know, but
those are shooting from the chest.
That's gorgeous. Gorgeous cover.
It's a very tastefully done cover. I mean,
it's awesome, dude.
It's scantily clad just enough, but still like very good.
Yep. Beautiful.
So this will be interesting to watch. It's KRS exclusive that was selling for $19.99 from their website. That it says it's sold out. So it'll be interesting to track the next couple of weeks.
That'll be the hot #1 book on Friday. There's no way. Top 3, at least top 3. Avengers Beyond #1, Return of the Beyonder. You guys definitely want to keep your eye on this. This is what a lot of us have been talking about lately about the Beyonder. There's
Scotty Young.
Is going to be the main bad guy for Secret Wars Part 1. And this is a really cool Scotty Young baby variant. So pick that one up. Next we have Jeff the Land Shark. He gets his own book, but you want the doily variant.
Yes. It's Jeff. I love it.
And then this looks interesting just by this cover is really, really designed well. Dahlia in the Dark. I'm a big fan of old school noir, and the whole Black Dahlia murder thing is very interesting. and this kind of like instantly popped out to me, because of the title. So it'd be interesting to see what it's about.
Hold on, you got to read that. You got to read this right now, man.
Great band, Black Dahlia Murder.
What? Oh, it says Donnie has to fight his way through a magical blizzard to confront a powerful wizard and the treacherous fairies that are helping him take the package back to their outlaw king. Meanwhile, the federal agent in pursuit of Donnie has been betrayed, but will. Oh, so it's been going on for a while now. But Dahlia in the Dark is a fast-paced action fantasy thriller about family, hidden truths. There you go.
It sounds like one hell of a ride.
Yeah, that's a cool cover. That's a cool cover, though, for sure. We also have Star Wars stuff, of course, the famous Jabba's Palace #1. There's that Ryan Brown you were talking about, Andy.
Yeah, so this kills me. This is a one shot, correct?
I believe so. It says #1.
Okay, so it's not a one shot, but it does say that this is a 1 in 100, and all it is taking the original cover A art and making it a virgin variant. So, and my LCS wants $100 for that 1 in 100 tomorrow. So something's Cosmic One was saying it's supposed to be a first appearance or could be a first appearance, but that 1 in 25.
Yeah, buy that instead.
Yeah, that looks good.
Alex Maleev.
But I mean, this flew under people's radar.
That's a nice Momoko. Holy shit, is that a good Momoko?
That's what, as we were starting and you showed up, I'm like, man, this is a detailed Momoko.
This is an excellent Momoko. Oh, this might be Momoko's best cover I've ever seen her do. Great proportions, great art, great line work. Just got enough of her style in it. This is damn good. Holy cow.
She must have been under the weather.
I never thought I'd say that. Oh, man. And then the connecting variant's pretty cool, too.
I do like that. I am excited. That's one of the things that I like, connecting variants in Star Wars. Once you get them all, you're like, okay, it's not bad, but this looks like it could be really cool for a connecting series or connecting variant covers.
You also have High Republic #7. You got the Zurcher 1 in 25 there. And then the Villanelli variant. So
Peach just gave Bryan a banana. Oh no. That 1 in 25 for this is not terrible, but I again have to ask myself, like, all the Star Wars stuff that we saw in 14, 15, 16, and 17, and the standard A covers, McClay, the standard A covers that we saw in those years, why are these ratios and other covers like absolutely just slapping the living bejesus out of those? These are just seem like they're, maybe I'm just not the consumer they're after anymore. It's just a different art style that people want.
I think that's part of it. I definitely think, but there's also a disconnect. I mean, this stuff is terrible. The Blade, it hasn't been good. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it.
It's not a bad read. The covers could be better, in my opinion.
Strange Academy Finals #5.
That's a cool cover. See, that's a damn cool cover A. Ooh.
Yeah. Jay Anceletto, Scarlet Witch. I like this Lopez variant too here also. I'm such a fan of Doyle. Go check out Popcorn Culture's latest video. Richie, aka Dollar, does a good job talking about some really, really smart spec plays coming up that I think were on FOC today or the ended yesterday, but go check it out.
I definitely feel like I'm going to be sorry for not buying and reading this series prolifically since the beginning over time.
Yeah. Ryan, I've got your boy Venom as one of the good covers of the week. This Lethal Protector 2 #1. This is
let me guess who that is. Hold on.
Zulu variant. Chrissy Zulo.
Yeah, it's unusual.
It's a different take.
Yeah, it is cool. I like the different take on the head. So this must be like another 5-part Protector series.
Yeah.
And they have some decent covers. They have that one that's the Ross cover. And I was just looking at that Ross cover. And I'm like, man, it's almost good. And then but it stinks at the same time. Of course, they're going to have 7,000 covers. See, you see, Andy, this is what you have to deal with. You talk about having to deal with Berserker. Every time they got a freaking Venom comic out, they want to make 9,000 covers. It's the freaking same one. But they made this in black and white too, in case you wanted one just black and white. So his tongue is a different color.
So,
Don't sound so
like
salty.
about this, it's got a very Scotty Young play to it, but it's not as
That's why I thought it was Scotty Young at first, but it's not.
But this artist is also the artist that has been doing all those really cool like animal covers, the cat and the animal covers, and she's got a very cool style to her. I really like.
It's very playful, but kind of still like works. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Cartoony. I've always been a cartoony fan. I'm an Ed McGuinness fan, Joe Madureira fan.
Yeah, I mean, that Venom looks almost like it would be like one of the kids' books almost.
Like that, she did a good Ewoks cover.
I did like that one that I grabbed.
This is one of my favorites of her. This Bloodline Daughter of Blade. That is so good, man.
That was on a list, I think.
Oh,
Are
man.
any of those Venom covers? Oh, there's a.
So look at the Supergirl.
The Miles one is so good. The little Miles cat.
That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check her out.
Look at that, Ben. There's a couple of covers that look just like. They made some like gold cracked ones.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's a no-brainer pickup for any big Venom fan. That like a homage to the gold variant.
So the guy that did he used to do those. I don't know if it's the same guy because there was a guy that did a bunch of these cracked ones like that. And I have those, but it doesn't look like the same. Like it's the same. It's like almost a ripoff of his. I don't know if it's the same guy who did this cover.
What do you mean?
Like I know
Demasi.
Demasi, yeah, it is the same guy.
Yeah.
He's one of these cracked. They're all cracked like that.
You know where that originated from, right?
It's like it's supposed to be from like a it's from like it's like mosaic art almost or whatever.
Well, yeah, like 5 or 6 years ago, on Instagram, a guy started sharing that he was taking tiles and making these like 8 foot by like 6 foot boxes and cracking flooring tiles of different colors and recreating comic book covers in this like 8 foot by 6 foot like box. And he started sharing it on Instagram, and people started finding him and following him. And it got to the point where now when he does one of these things, it's like tens of thousands of dollars is what he charges, and like baller level people are buying these things. And then they started doing comic book cover versions of them, I think either during COVID or right before COVID.
Is there a ratio variance of this one?
I'm sure there have to be, right?
Let me see. Go down, look at some of the different ones. I don't know how you pulled the ratio ones from the arm.
I wonder if
So there's a 1 in 25 second printing. This is the 1 in 25 connecting.
Second printing, so I guess they're not going to come out like, oh, who's okay.
And then the rest are all
store.
There's a Delato, a Suion, a Momoko. Here's the Momoko.
You always got to do something not. Yeah, see her,
And then the Ross, and then there's a De La Rosa variant too.
Oh, which one's De La Rosa?
It hasn't been shown yet.
No. Huh. I wonder if he's going to do his classic. Oh, dude, if they made a foil cover for Venom Leaf Breaker one, that would be sick.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like yes. I'm going to be. Wait. What does it say? Don't sleep on the Doom second print of the lenticular that Venom cover home. There's a lenticular Venom cover.
Second print.
It says 1 in 25 second printing, and then another second printing, but it says cover coming soon.
But that wouldn't come out for a couple months, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess some time.
I imagine so. I don't know about you guys, and I know that you guys are eyeing. The one thing that I'm eyeing is going to be my bank account tomorrow, because after being so successful for months now of doing $40 and $50 like new comic book day pickups, all of a sudden Star Wars and Something Is Killing the Children come out of left field and smack me across the face for everything Star Wars tomorrow. Everything Star Wars. That Jabba's 1 in 100. My LCS wants $100 for it. And I'm like, let it be that one time I decide to not buy it, and then if I want to get it 6 months from now, it's $150 or $200. That's my common fear, and that's some FOMO that eats away at me. I need to sit back and not pick that one up and wait until it hits like a $25 bin or something. But it's insane. Look at Something Is Killing the Children has a really, really killer 1 in 25, and I can't remember if it's Kirkham or not. But that's got a new artist that's kind of homaging Frizen too.
For which the Something Is Killing the Children?
Yep. One more down.
This one?
Nope. Right in the middle. It's kind of like a Frizen homage.
This is Lotte.
Yep. That's a 1 in 100.
That's interesting.
Not bad. I like the detail, but the upper right-hand corner there, it is the red one. That 1 in 25. Is it Kirkham?
Yeah.
Dude, that looks dope.
This one looks pretty dope too. Anadito or Anandito.
It's 1 in 50. So obviously, they're coming out with ratios. Boom Studio doing Boom Studios, a 1 in 50. Even on this issue, issue 33? Nope, issue 30. It's gonna be $50 for the 1 in 50. It's gonna be $100 for the 1 in 100. And it's like, I don't want to spend $250 tomorrow for it's like 3 of the ratios are gonna cost me $200.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't want to spend that.
That's why you saved your money all those weeks, though. Look at it like that.
I was doing really, really good.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that turns out for you there, Andy.
You guys know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna feel obligated because I ordered them. Yeah, I even told them last month that I was thinking about dropping Something Is Killing down to cover A. But then I was flipping through all of the variants in the Something Is Killing the Children box, and I'm like, man, these look really good. Let's go one more round. I'm like, they're not going to do that again, and they did. Of course they did, because it's Boom Studios. Nice little cliffhanger this week in Something Is Killing the Children. God, yeah, someone's killing my wallet, but just like my bank account, what that's going to leave us with?
One more thing.
One more thing.
Like one.
What?
Well, let me see here. Tomorrow night we got our collectible show, our Wednesday night review, and we're gonna be rocking over there. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna be totally talking about, but we're gonna have the collectibles market report. I have got my cards ready to send off to PSA for the first time in a long time, and I'm going through comics to start sending stuff off to CGC. So I might show my first little submission on its way to the Doctas, that being Red Hood. So I'm gonna send some to Red Hood. And see how busy Sean is and Richie, but most of them are probably going to go Red Hood and then straight to the grading service CGC, and we'll see how it plays out.
I'm a little worried, little excited, and a little worried for you.
Yeah.
The amount of money that I heard you're going to have to spend on that. Oh man, that sounds brutal. How many cards is it again total?
Oh, I've got 25 that are going out.
So you got the Jordans going out, right?
Though, is like a lot
just
more.
One of them. I could.
Oh yeah, because when you get into that card level, it's not like a $25 modern grading. Is that one of those like express or walkthrough tiers where it's like
$600?
Jesus, $600 for one card. But I saw a 7.0 for sale for like thousands of dollars. So
yeah.
Hopefully you get a massive grade on that card.
I'm hoping they're going to be 5s and above. So
there you go.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that Thursday night, the Bogcast. Make sure you come hang out with us for our. We like to talk about stand-up comedy and comedians, UFOs, cannabis, and funny social media videos that we can all laugh and joke about with a lot of dark humor. Come watch us. We're doing a new thing where we're doing the first half of the show on YouTube and the second half of the show on Rumble. And we're going to try sending it out to some other places, but it's been working out that way. So come check us out. That'll be tomorrow on Thursday night. And then Friday night, House of Stein, Top 10. Saturday night, Modern Comic Mayhem.
Nice. Excited.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I too have a little bit of content starting to work on, starting to get a little more time. The boys are starting to get a little bit older. So there's another channel called Football Card Quest. And it's going to be, I'll give you all more information. You can look up if you're into football cards or just cards in general, you can look at his YouTube channel up again. It's called the Football Card Quest. And Andy is the guy who runs that particular channel. Really cool guy. And we have a idea that we're working on right now. We're kind of fleshing it together. So just be on the lookout. It will be dual streamed on the old Rhynoverse. So keep an eye out on that. I'll have some new things starting to come out. It will not be just cards. It will not be just comics. It will not be just music, but it'll be combinations of those types of things more than likely. I might throw some surfing in there, but starting to work on it toward that direction now that the boys are a little more self-sufficient now. So looking forward to do that. So if you haven't subscribed to Rhynoverse yet, let me see if I can do it. Right? Yeah, there you go.
Down below.
Yeah, you can get on there. You can all your major platforms: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We have a good community on Facebook as well. So let's get it rocking.
For sure, man. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. My one more thing this week is, oh God, we better end the show so I can throw together a thumbnail and set up tomorrow's show, because it is spring break and it is so incredibly busy here in Michigan that I got home like an hour and a half before tonight's show. Barely had time to get dinner and get back down and get set up with you guys. And tomorrow night's going to be just as busy. So I hate to continue to throw books on the reading pile. I would prefer to be able to read books before the Wednesday show, and that's always been my goal. But tomorrow's probably going to have to, hey, I got to read 1 or 2 books. Here's the rest of the stuff we picked up, and I really want to talk to the community and connect to the community with the other books that I should be reading. And I've started to pick up DC books. We picked up that new Superman series. That was a really good read. I almost picked up Green Hell, but it's in a damn prestige format. By the way, in addition to that, this one more thing is just the content that's happening this week on this channel. Friday is the next CGC unboxing. I know I promised last Friday, but like we said, rolling into spring break, it's been crazy. It's been insane. And I really needed an opportunity to unplug. I know everybody here watching and everybody here on the panel can appreciate needing time to unplug. So I took that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to unplug because it was officially the last full weekend of the Diablo 4 beta. And I mashed buttons forever, and it was great to unplug from life in general, just take care of my family and kind of take care of myself and play that Diablo 4 beta, which I had a tremendous amount of fun with, and cannot wait for the next 3 months to go by for that game to drop in June. I'm really looking forward to that. But CGC unboxing this Friday, which means comic book community giveaway, graded comic book. We got a big surprise. A community member set in a box of slabs to add to the community giveaway. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, Red Hood should be on this Friday. He cracked and pressed several copies of Ultimate Fallout 4 for us, and we sent them back into CGC, and I can't wait to see what the grades come back as. I'm really excited because those were 9.2s when they went out. We'll see what we did.
Oh, yeah, bro. Sick.
I can't wait. On that note, it's been real. You guys are the greatest thing about this every week, all day in and all day out. This comic book community and everybody here on the panel that creates content, everybody here that consumes the content. Greatest thing in the world. You guys are what keeps this channel ticking and keeps many other channels ticking and other content creators ticking. So just remember that you guys are important, and you guys are enough. But don't forget, the most important part all day, each day, every day is stay original and take care of each other, because we're all we've got, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
we're watching you.
We're watching. Have a good night, everybody.
Later.
Double up. Money I color.
Excuse me while I change. The holler boogie has made me sweaty. Yeah, sweaty.